The story opens with a 10-year-old boy named Jojo Betzler, whose imaginary companion happens to be Adolf Hitler. Although he is still young and innocent, with little real understanding of the world, Jojo is completely absorbed by Nazi ideology and filled with intense patriotic zeal. Determined to prove his loyalty to the regime and show that he can be a true soldier, he eagerly decides to enlist in the Hitler Youth's junior division together with his close friend, Yorkie, hoping to make his country proud and find a sense of belonging. The duo spends a weekend at a camp supervised by Captain Klenzendorf and his assistant, Freddie Finkel, as well as Fräulein Rahm, who oversees the League of German Girls. The children receive miniature uniforms and ceremonial daggers before participating in various activities such as grenade throwing, trench digging, map reading, and gas defense training. Jojo excels at tasks like drawing caricatures of Jewish people and burning books, but his courage falters during hand-to-hand combat training. The older boys notice his fear and give him a rabbit to test his bravery. Although Jojo insists he isn't afraid, he cannot bring himself to harm the creature. When he tries to set it free, one of the older boys kills the rabbit and mocks him. From that moment on, he is nicknamed Jojo Rabbit for being seen as a coward. Humiliated and heartbroken, Jojo runs into the forest, where his imaginary friend Hitler appears to comfort him, comparing him to a brave rabbit. Encouraged by this, Jojo returns to the camp with renewed determination. At that moment, the children are practicing grenade throwing under Klenzendorf's supervision, assisted by his dwarf aide. Jojo impulsively grabs a grenade and throws it into the woods, but it bounces off a tree and explodes near his feet. The explosion knocks him unconscious. He vaguely remembers being carried to the hospital and visited by his mother, Rosie Betzler. A few days later, he wakes up in his room, realizing his leg is now limping and his face scarred. Rosie enters, warmly embracing him and reassuring him despite the absence of his father and the death of his sister, Inga. After helping Jojo put on his uniform again, Rosie takes him to the Hitler Youth headquarters. There, they encounter Klenzendorf, who is carelessly attending to Finkel. Rosie scolds him, delivering a swift knee to the groin and a slap with her glove, demanding that Jojo still be given duties, even if not field work. Jojo is then assigned light tasks such as putting up propaganda posters and delivering conscription letters, which he carries out enthusiastically. One afternoon, he sees his mother staring at several people hanging in the town square. When Jojo asks what their crime was, Rosie replies cryptically, what they could do. Upon returning home, Jojo cannot find his mother. He becomes alarmed when he hears noises coming from his sister's room. Upon investigating, he notices a strange mark on the floor extending up the wall. Using his knife, he pries it open and discovers a hidden compartment. From within, a young girl named Elsa Kor emerges, startling Jojo so much that he flees toward the door. However, Elsa chases him, seizes his knife, and confesses that she is Jewish. She explains that Rosie is hiding her in the house to protect her. If Jojo reports her, she will claim that both he and Rosie are helping her, putting their lives in danger. With his knife now in Elsa's possession, she retreats back into her hiding place. Jojo rushes to his room and consults his imaginary Hitler, seeking advice. They decide that negotiation is the best option. Armed with a kitchen knife and a pot for protection, Jojo returns to his sister's room and suggests Elsa find another place to hide. But Elsa quickly disarms him and orders him to leave. After another talk with his imaginary friend, Jojo concludes that the only way to deal with her is to gain her trust and lower her guard. That evening, when Rosie returns home, Jojo tells her he has heard noises upstairs. Rosie brushes it off, saying it must be rats. After tucking Jojo into bed, she visits Elsa and warns her to be more careful. Rosie insists that she cannot prioritize Elsa over her own son, but adds that as long as even one person survives, their cause is not lost. The next day, Jojo goes to the swimming pool to exercise his leg. There, he sees Klenzendorf and Finkel looking nervous as Rosie passes by. After she leaves, Jojo approaches them and asks what he should do if he ever encounters a Jewish person. Klenzendorf replies that he should report it to the Gestapo so the person and anyone helping them can be executed. Jojo then asks how to recognize a Jew, but Klenzendorf admits he doesn't know and jokes that someone should write a guide about it. When Jojo returns home, he speaks to Elsa again. He proposes a deal. She can stay as long as she provides him with information about Jewish people. Jojo plans to compile this information into a book. Elsa agrees and begins describing, mockingly, that Jews are money-hungry demons with food allergies. Naive Jojo almost believes her but soon realizes she's just tricking him into bringing her food. As Jojo brags about Aryan superiority and mocks Jewish people, Elsa grabs him, covers his mouth, and shakes him furiously. She tells him that Jews are not weak but strong, then retreats to her hiding place. That night, Rosie lights a fire, pours herself some wine, and dances joyfully after hearing that Italy has surrendered and France is on the verge of liberation. Jojo argues with her for being against Germany, but Rosie cuts him off and tells him to eat. Jojo suspects that she is saving food for Elsa. Later, he reflects on his absent father. Rosie puts on her husband's jacket and smears ashes on her face to pretend to be him. Speaking in her husband's voice, she reminds Jojo to respect his mother and appreciate her efforts. Then she turns on the music and invites Jojo to dance with her. The following day, Jojo gives Elsa paper and a pencil, asking her to draw the habits of Jewish people. Elsa draws but avoids questions about her family. She only talks about her fiancé, Nathan, who is fighting with the resistance. She also draws a humorous caricature, depicting Jojo's head as the home where Jews live. Jojo then writes a fake letter pretending to be from Nathan, saying that Nathan no longer loves her. Elsa looks sad but knows the letter is fake. Feeling guilty, Jojo writes another letter as Nathan, retracting the first one and professing his continued love. Grateful, Elsa asks Jojo to write more letters like that in the future. Finally, they play a game of naming famous figures from each of their sides, and Elsa wins by naming Jesus. Sometime later, Jojo and Rosie take a walk along the riverbank. Rosie reminisces about how the place used to be lively, a spot for dancing and romance, something Jojo dismisses as unimportant. Rosie emphasizes that children shouldn't concern themselves with politics, but instead should play and climb trees. She envisions a world where dancing becomes a symbol of freedom. However, the skeptical Jojo suddenly pedals away on his bike, followed by Rosie running after him along the roadside. On their way, they encounter weary returning soldiers, their gloomy expressions mirroring Jojo's own somber mood. Back home, Elsa tries to cheer Jojo up by telling him imaginative stories about her people. Gradually, Jojo begins to enjoy her company, a change that his imaginary friend, Hitler, later scolds him for. As Jojo drifts to sleep, Rosie spends time talking to Elsa, expressing her gratitude and happiness at seeing her grow into a young woman, something she never got to witness with her own daughter. The next day, Jojo goes to the Young Volk headquarters, where he finds Klenzendorf and Finkel arguing with their faces just inches apart. Jojo announces his plan to write a book about Jewish people, which makes them laugh, thinking it's absurd. Klenzendorf then proudly presents his flamboyant uniform designs for himself and Finkel, before assigning Jojo to collect scrap metal for the war effort, dressed in a robot costume on the streets. While carrying out his task, Jojo spots his mother distributing anti-Nazi pamphlets. He also reunites with Yorkie, who is now a soldier. During their conversation, Yorkie casually mentions seeing a Jewish person hiding in the forest, a comment that makes Jojo thoughtful and uneasy. When Jojo returns home, he gives Elsa a set of colored pencils he found but warns her that it's illegal for a Nazi to befriend a Jew. Elsa responds by saying that Jojo has never harmed her, pointing out that he's just a lonely boy seeking acceptance rather than a true Nazi. The two begin to understand each other despite their differences. Realizing that Elsa is dirty, Jojo allows her to leave her hiding place to take a bath and even lends her his late sister's clothes. Just as they are about to have dinner, a knock at the door interrupts the calm. Elsa quickly retreats to her hiding spot while Jojo opens the door to find a group of Gestapo officers led by Hermann Diertz. Shortly after, Klenzendorf and Finkel arrive, pretending to deliver pamphlets for Jojo. The Gestapo begins a thorough search of the house, questioning Jojo about Rosie's absence and his incomplete uniform. Elsa, now disguised as Inga, steps forward and explains that she took the knife from her brother because he was being bothersome. The officers proceed to search Elsa's room. Still suspicious, Diertz demands that Elsa present her identification. She hands over Inga's ID card from a drawer, and after correctly guessing the birth date written on it, she's allowed to go. However, Diertz becomes intrigued when he discovers Jojo's book about the Jews and bursts into laughter at the caricatures inside. Elsa feels deeply hurt and betrayed, especially when she reads a section where Jojo lists different hypothetical fates for Nathan. After the Gestapo and Klenzendorf leave, Elsa realizes that the birth date on the card doesn't match the one she gave earlier, implying that Klenzendorf secretly helped them. Jojo then suggests that Elsa should use Inga's identity and live with him in hiding. Still wounded by what she read, Elsa refuses and distances herself. Imaginary Hitler reprimands Jojo for trying to befriend Elsa and accuses him of betraying the ideals of a true Nazi. While scavenging for food one day, Jojo discovers his mother's lifeless body hanging in the town square. Overcome with grief, he clings to her legs, sobbing uncontrollably, even trying to tie her shoes. After hours of mourning, he returns home with a knife in his hand, blaming Elsa for Rosie's death and nearly attacking her. Elsa stops him just in time, leaving only a small cut on his hand. As Jojo breaks down in tears again, Elsa embraces him and comforts him. Elsa reveals that she had long known Rosie was involved in the resistance, though she didn't know the details. She also tells Jojo that his father, too, was part of the resistance, something Rosie kept secret to protect him. Elsa then explains that her own parents were taken to a concentration camp, leaving only the two of them to rely on each other. Days pass, and Jojo starts scavenging food from garbage bins as he watches the city crumble. He and Elsa share small meals and continue to write and read the fabricated letters from Nathan that Jojo creates. One day, as chaos erupts in the city following Hitler's death and the Allied invasion, Jojo encounters Yorkie again, now armed due to the army's desperate need for soldiers. Jojo confides in Yorkie about the Jewish girl he's hiding and his fear of being punished. Yorkie casually replies that the Russians and Japanese are far scarier than the Jews. Their conversation is cut short when Fräulein Rum appears, handing Yorkie a weapon before dressing Jojo in a uniform jacket to keep him from being shot by their own side. Amid explosions and gunfire, Jojo witnesses children, the elderly, and even Finkel and his dwarf assistant fighting in flamboyant costumes. Terrified, Jojo hides inside an abandoned building until the battle subsides. When he emerges, he sees American troops replacing Nazi flags with their own. Soviet soldiers round up the remaining Nazis, including Diertz and the Gestapo members. Seeing Jojo's uniform, they detain him as well. Among the prisoners, Jojo encounters Klenzendorf, who offers him kind words and tells him to take care of his little sister. Klenzendorf then removes his jacket and loudly insults Jojo, calling him a Jew, a ploy to ensure Jojo's release. Helpless, Jojo watches as Klenzendorf is taken away and executed by firing squad. On his way home, Jojo meets Yorkie, who says he's going to find his mother. When Yorkie jokingly says, "Your girlfriend's free now," Jojo suddenly realizes Elsa might leave him. He rushes home and lies to Elsa, telling her that Germany has won the war so she won't go. However, after seeing drawings of his mother and a caged rabbit in his notebook, Jojo feels remorse and abandons the lie. Instead, he writes another fake letter from Nathan, claiming he has a plan to help Elsa escape the city. Elsa finally reveals that Nathan actually died of tuberculosis a year ago, though the letters Jojo wrote had brought her comfort. Jojo gathers the courage to confess his feelings for her, though Elsa gently explains that she loves him only as a friend. Despite his disappointment, Jojo remains determined to help her. When his imaginary Hitler reappears to protest, Jojo firmly rejects him, literally kicking him out the window. Elsa hesitates at the doorstep, unsure of what awaits outside, but Jojo encourages her to step out. As they walk out together, a car draped with an American flag drives past, signaling the end of the war. Elsa slaps Jojo for lying to her, but moments later, they both stand still, silently taking in their freedom. Unsure of what to do next, they choose to celebrate it, by dancing together, and with that the story ends here.